Hi, my name is Jessica. I'm a clerk here with the Macedon Public Library, and I'm here to bring you your monthly book recommendations on all things graphic novels for grades 3 through 5 here at the Macedon Public Library. These are my book recommendations for May 2021. This time I wanted to focus on, I try to tend to pick a theme for each one of these videos. So this time I wanted to focus on quirky heroes. Some tales that we have of some main characters or some heroic characters that are maybe a little off the beaten path, and showing you that that is not only just fine, but sometimes even just what you need in a hero. So I wanted to start with one of our more popular graphic novels here that I know this one has circulated quite a bit, called Sunny Rolls the Dice. Now this is about a girl named Sunny who has just entered into middle school and trying to fit in middle school and trying to feel cool. Feeling like you're one of the cool kids can be really hard. And our protagonist, which is a big word, protagonist means the main character. Our protagonist, Sunny, doesn't really feel like she fits in with a lot of the interests of girls her age. She really is most comfortable in the basement playing with her friends, playing what is called Dungeons and Dragons, which is a fantasy role-playing game. So what this book is really about is trying to find your comfort zone, discovering what you like, what you find fun, and how to be comfortable being yourself, even if yourself is a little off the beaten path. So I think Sunny is a great character, a great role model, and a great hero for showing kids that they can be exactly who they are. And being cool, it really is all a state of mind. So that is Sunny Rolls the Dice. On a completely different note, this is actually a series of books we have with two heroes at the forefront, called Bird and Squirrel. And this one is called Bird and Squirrel on Ice. And you can see there's a killer whale underneath them, and they're in a bit of a pickle there. So the reason I picked this one is because you have two unorthodox heroes here in Bird and Squirrel who are best friends. Bird is more outgoing, and Squirrel is a bit more cautious and a little afraid. But between the two of them, they end up in a lot of wacky adventures, and they find themselves in situations that really test them to their limits, and really sometimes they have to find that they have to go outside their comfort zone, or sometimes they find strengths that they didn't know they had to solve the issue. So this series has been described as a bright melody of friendship, problem solving, and identity. So it's a great book for people that, for kids that really want to not only have a fun, full color adventure with just a couple of great fun characters, but also maybe you identify a little bit with Bird, or maybe you identify a little bit with Squirrel. Maybe you feel a little more cautious, and you can read a story about someone discovering that quiet bravery they didn't know they had inside. Or maybe you feel like you identify with Bird and you like that outgoing adventurous side. That's why these books are great, because they're really made for everybody, and they're just a nice, fun story about friendship at its heart. So that's why one of my personal favorites is Bird and Squirrel. Now, following on that theme of quirky heroes, there was really no one more quirky when I was growing up than Snoopy. Snoopy, you might recognize if you watched the Peanuts movie. There was an animated movie a few years ago, but it was a comic strip first. There's also a lot of classic movies. Snoopy was always just a bit unorthodox because he is the pet of a kid named Charlie Brown, who is usually the main character of the Peanuts comics. He's kind of the one that they follow the most. But Snoopy is a beagle who sometimes feels a bit overlooked or a bit neglected by his owner. And Snoopy has a really vivid imagination. And one of Snoopy's favorite things to do is sit on top of his doghouse and imagine that he is the hero of his own tales. Um, and I really identified with Snoopy growing up because I had a really vivid imagination, and I um, really could identify with that idea of just liking to daydream and really liking to let your imagination run wild. And in this case, Snoopy is almost always as I said, the hero of his tales. So in this one, he's feeling a bit overlooked, a bit neglected, and he kind of goes off on this adventure in his mind in which he is, and you can see here's like the regular everyday, and then suddenly it switches over to he is in the trenches of World War One. So he's very dramatic in his imaginings, and he really has to sort of cross enemy lines and draw fire and things like that. And it's sort of interwoven or interjected with these interruptions from real life in which he's being reminded about the trials and tribulations of real life, and then he goes back into these fantasies. But what is great about it is Snoopy is quite literally almost always the underdog and triumphs in the end, even sometimes in his fantasies and sometimes in real life, where he comes back and realizes that he was well loved and well cared for all along. So I've always just really liked Snoopy for anyone who really likes to let their imagination run wild and can really identify with a character like that. Now, the last one is probably the quirkiest book I found in our graphic novel section. This one is really unique to itself. It is called Lint Boy by Eileen Lidgeton. Sorry, I don't really know how to pronounce it. And this is just a very unorthodox tale, drawn in this almost fairy tale style of the most unlikely of heroes, which is a pile of wool and buttons and lint that comes together in a dryer. I believe it's in a dryer that comes together to form Lint Boy, who sort of spontaneously comes to life. And Lint Boy has a friend named Lint Bear. And one day, Lint Bear gets stolen by a woman who despises dolls. So then Lint Boy, the most unlikely of heroes, very small, very fragile, being, has to, or doesn't have to, but chooses to go out and rescue his friend. So really, it shows that even the smallest, most unlikely of heroes can have a heart of gold and be filled with that determination to face any dangers to help their friends. And he faces rather insurmountable odds, and can he triumph to save his friend? So this was the one that actually inspired this whole list, because it just seemed like a very quirky book. So if you'd like to read some books about maybe some unconventional heroes, not just your sort of standard hero archetype, like say, the Avengers or Superman, but if you'd like to some kind of under the radar heroes, or that more kind of quiet heroic qualities, I recommend all of these books here at the Macedon Public Library. They're all great fun reads, and they really show you that there's a little bit of hero in all of us. So I hope that was helpful to you. I hope you found some new books to read, and I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye.